Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Wednesday, October 26, 2022, a little after 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having a Time for Change call tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. Find yourself being quietly drawn by a deeper pull of what you truly love, Rumi. Some of us maybe sometimes feel like a manifesting couch potato. While we may have already manifested some wonderful things that we've wanted in our lives, there's another level of moving energy into form, creating it into reality, and experiencing it, manifesting. This level starts with training, just like you would do an exercise training muscles, manifesting muscles, which are like any other type of muscle. And if we don't use them correctly, we get weak when not exercised regularly. Some indications that you may be suffering from flabby, degenerating manifesting muscles are vague intentions, feeling stuck in the same situations, incessant laziness, feeling like you're wasting time, and just not experiencing an enjoyable life that you love. So then you get to the point where it's time to turn off the TV and get off that cozy couch so you can start having some real fun with your life. The first discovery to strengthening your manifesting muscles is to go to the manifesting gym first thing in the morning. If you want to feel and see amazing results, it's vital that you're visiting your inner power gym every day. Now, what does a gym look like? One of the greatest keys to starting your manifesting morning workout is beginning your day with a big yes. The very moment you awake, say yes to everything. Say yes to who you are, where you are in your life today, the people in your life, to your past exactly as it is, and to any future experiences you want to create. Feel excited about how you want the day to unfold, and know the most important element of all is that you deeply enjoy yourself on this journey. This is what the yes is truly all about. Try saying yes to your life several times right now, and notice how you feel. This one simple technique will shift your entire life into a glorious manifesting dream if you can start your day by saying yes out loud. Now, this super positive, life-affirming, magical energy will sink into your subconscious and echo throughout your day. It is the word that every powerful manifesting being uses, and is that one essential vibration that cannot be repeated too much. As you speak or think yes, let your mind focus on that which you want to say yes to in your life. Perhaps it's feeling free from your financial situation, in love, in your relationship, clear from an event in your past, excited about something in your future, feeling great about your body, deeply honest with a family member, or perhaps at peace with an enemy, etc. Just say yes to the experience of freeing yourself from everything you have resistance to. And we all know whatever we resist persists. And saying yes to what you truly want allows you to transcend the small stuff holding you back energetically and create a new relationship with them. The more you practice saying yes to life, the more energy you'll build inside, and you'll truly strengthen your ability to attract whatever it is your heart wants and desires. Let the beauty we love be what we do. There are hundreds of ways to kneel and kiss the ground. Rumi. This whole planet, just about forever, is involved in an illusion, a great illusion. And we all are visual. All of us are, in some way, shape, or form, we're visual. Because we're in these physical forms. Such as, for instance, why do women like to be attractive to men when they also resent their sexual desires? Interesting question. There is a political strategy in it. The woman likes to be attractive because that gives power. The more attractive they are, the more powerful they are over men. And who does not want to be powerful? Their whole lives, people are struggling to be powerful. People are struggling to be powerful. Why do we desire money? It will bring, for most, it will bring power. Why do you want to become the prime minister or the president of a country? It will bring power. Why do you want respectability, prestige? It brings power. Why do you want to become a saint? It brings power. People on this planet are searching for power in different ways. You have not left women any other choices to be powerful. Only one outlet, their bodies. That's why they are continuously interested in being more and more attractive. Have you not seen it? That the modern woman does not care too much about being attractive today, right? Why? Because she is entering other kinds of power politics. The modern woman is getting out of the old bondage. She will fight the man for the degree in the university. She will compete in the marketplace. She will compete in politics. She need not be so worried about looking very attractive. Man has never bothered much to look attractive. Why? That has been left completely to women. For women, that was the only source to attain some power. And for men, there were so many other sources that to look attractive looked a little bit effeminate. You see, that is for women. This has not been always so. There was a time in the past when women were as free as men. Then men used to be interested in being attractive as much as women were. Now, if you look at Krishna in his picture, beautiful silk robes with a flute, with all kinds of ornaments and earrings, with a beautiful crown made of peacock feathers. Look at him. He looks so beautiful. Those were the days when men and women went absolutely and were absolutely free to do whatever they wanted to do. Then came along long, dark age when women were represented or repressed. It happened because of the priests and your so-called saints. Your saints have always been afraid of women because women seem to be so powerful. The woman seems to be so powerful that she can destroy the saint's sainthood within minutes. It is said that a mother tries for 25 years to make her son wise, and then comes a woman, and within 2 minutes she makes a fool of him. That's why mothers can never forgive daughters-in-law. Never. It took 25 years for the poor old woman to give some intelligence to this man. And within 2 minutes, all is gone. How can she forgive this woman? It is because of your saints that women were condemned. They were afraid of women. The women had to be repressed. And because women were repressed, all sources of competing in life, flowing in life, were taken away. Then there was only one thing left, their bodies. So the question is, why do women like to be attractive to men? That's why. That is their only power. And who does not want to be powerful? Unless you understand that power only brings misery, power is destructive, violent, unless through understanding your desire for power disappears. Who does not like to be powerful? Genuinely. And the question is, but when they want to be attractive to men, why do they also resent their sexual desires? For the same reason. The woman remains powerful only when she goes on hanging in front of you like a carrot. Never available and always available. Never available and always available. So close and so far away. Only then is she powerful. If she immediately falls into your lap, then the power is gone. And once you have exploited her sexuality, once you have used her, she is finished. She has no more power over you. So she attracts you and yet keeps aloof. She attracts you, she provokes you, she seduces you, and when you come close to her, she simply says no. Now, that is simple logic. If she says yes, you reduce her to a mechanism. You use her and nobody wants to be used. It is the other side of the same power politics. Power means the capacity to use the other. And when somebody uses you, your power is gone. You are reduced to powerlessness. So no woman wants to be used. And you have been doing that down the ages. Love has become an ugly thing. It should be the greatest glory, but it's not. Because man has been using woman, and she resents it, resists it, naturally. She does not want to be reduced to a commodity. That's why you will see husbands just wagging their tails around their wives, and their wives in such an attitude that they are above all this nonsense, holier than thou. The wives go on pretending that they are not interested in sex, ugly sex. They are as interested as you are. But the problem is that they cannot show their interest. Otherwise, you immediately reduce them to powerlessness. You start using them. So they are interested in everything else and being very attractive to you and then denying you. That is the joy of power, pulling you. And you are pulled almost as if pulled by strings. And then saying no to you, reducing you to absolute powerlessness. And you are wagging your tail like a dog, and then the woman enjoys. This is an ugly state. This should not be so. This is an ugly state because love has been reduced to power politics. This has to be changed on this planet. We have to choose to create a new humanity and a new world, a new earth, in which love will not be a question of power at all. At least, take love out of power politics. Leave money, leave politics there, leave everything there. But take love out of it. Love is something immensely valuable. Don't make it a thing of the marketplace. But that is what's happened. The recruit had just arrived at a foreign legion post in the desert. He asked his corporal what the men did for recreation. Corporal smiled wisely and said, "You will see." The young man was puzzled. "Well, you've got more than 100 men on this base, and I don't see a single woman." "You will see," the corporal repeated. That afternoon, 300 camels were herded into the corral. At a signal, the men seemed to go wild. They leaped into the corral and began to make love to the camels. The recruit saw the corporal hurrying past him and grabbed his arm. "I see what you mean, but I don't understand," he said. "There must be 300 of those camels and only about 100 of us. Why is everybody rushing? Can't a man take his time?" "What?" exclaimed the corporal, startled. "And get stuck with an ugly one?" Nobody wants to get stuck with an ugly one, even though it is a camel. So who wants to get stuck with an ugly woman? The woman tries in every way to be beautiful, at least to look beautiful. And once you are trapped into her allurements, she starts escaping from you, because that is the whole game. If you start escaping from her, she will come close to you. She will start following you. The moment you start following her, she will start escaping. This is the game. This is not love. This is inhuman. But this is what is happening and has been happening down throughout the ages on this planet. Beware of it. Each person has tremendous dignity, and no person can ever be reduced to a commodity, to a thing. Respect men. Respect women. They are all divine. And forget the old idea that it is man who makes love to the woman. That is so stupid. It makes it feel as if man is the doer and the woman is just there as something to be done to. Even in the language, it is man who makes love. It is man who is the acting partner. It is the woman who is just there, a passive receptivity. This is absolutely not true. Both are making love to each other. Both are doers. Both are participants. The woman in her own way, receptivity is her way of participating, but it is participation as much as the man's. And don't think that only you are doing something to the woman. She's also doing something to you. You are both doing something tremendously valuable to each other. You are offering yourselves to each other. You are sharing your energies with each other. You are both offering yourselves in the temple of love, in the temple of the God of love. It is the God of love who has possessed both of you. It is a very sacred moment. You are walking on holy ground. And then there will be a totally different quality to people's behavior. It is good to be beautiful. It is ugly to appear to be beautiful. It is good to be attractive, but it is ugly to manage to be attractive. That management is cunningness, and people are naturally beautiful. There is no need for any makeup. All makeup is ugly. It makes you uglier and uglier. The beauty is in simplicity and innocence and being natural and being spontaneous. And when you are beautiful, don't use that beauty as power politics. That is profaning it. That is sacrilegious. Beauty is a gift of existence. Share, but don't use it in any way for domination, to possess the other. Your love will become a prayer, and your beauty will become an offering to existence. Now we look at this planet and we see, some of us, the absolute ludicrousness of politics, right? By politics, you have to understand not only the politics that is known by the name. Wherever somebody is trying a power number, it is politics. It does not matter whether it relates to the state, the government, and matters like that. To me, the word politics is much more comprehensive than is generally understood. Question arises is, why has it been insisted continually that the woman is inferior? It is politics. It is a power game. Man has been trying a political strategy over women throughout history, and that she is lower than him, and he has convinced the woman herself. There were reasons that the woman was helpless and had to concede to this ugly idea that is absolutely absurd. The woman is neither inferior to man, nor is she superior. There are two different categories of humanity. They cannot be compared. The very comparison is idiotic. And if you can start comparing, then you will be in trouble. Why has woman been proclaimed inferior by man all over the world? Because this was the only way to keep her in bondage, to make a slave out of her. It was easier. If she were equal, then there would be trouble. She should be conditioned to the idea that she is inferior. And the reasons given are that she has less muscular strength. Her height is normally less. She has not produced any philosophy, any theology, and she has not founded any religion. There have not been significant women artists, musicians, painters. That shows that she has not enough intelligence. She is not an intellectual. She is not concerned with higher problems of life. Her concern is very limited. She's only a housewife. Now, choosing to compare this way, you can easily convince the woman that she is inferior. But this is a very cunning way. There are other things also to be compared. A woman can give birth to a child. A man cannot. He is certainly inferior. He cannot become a mother. Nature has not given him that much responsibility, knowing that he is inferior. The responsibility goes to the superior. Nature has not given him a womb. In fact, his functioning and giving birth to a child is nothing more than that of an injection of very momentary use. The mother has to carry the child for 9 months, take all the trouble of carrying the child. It is not an easy job. And then to give birth to the child. That is almost as if one is passing through death. Then she is involved in bringing up the child for years together. And in the past, she was continually giving birth to children. What time have you left her to become a great musician, a poetess, a painter? Have you given her any time? She was constantly either pregnant or taking care of the children to whom she has given birth. She was taking care of the house so that you were able to contemplate higher things. Just for one day, for 24 hours. Change your work. Let her contemplate. Create poetry or music. And for 24 hours, you take care of the children, of the kitchen, of the house. And then you will know who is superior. Just 24 hours will be enough to prove to you that to take care of so many children is just to be in a madhouse. And just one day of cooking the food for the family and the guests, you will know that in 24 hours you have experienced hell. You will forget that idea that you are superior, because in 24 hours you will not think even for a split second about theology, philosophy, religion. Think of it in other ways. The woman has less muscular power because for millions of years she has not been given the work that creates muscles. Now, when you view or interact with the Aboriginals in India, where the woman is muscular and the man is not. So it is not something natural, it is something historical. But for so long, women have not been given muscular work that their bodies, by and by, naturally have lost the capacity for muscular development. But you have to think from other angles, too. The woman has more power of resistance than man. Now, that is a medically established fact. Women fall sick less than men. They live longer in most cases than men, usually are on average 5 years longer. It is a very stupid society where we have decided that the husband should be 4 or 5 years older than the wife, just to prove that the husband is more experienced, elderly, to keep his superiority intact. But it is not medically right, because the woman is going to live 5 years longer. If you think medically, then the husband should be 5 years younger than the wife so that they can die at the same time, almost at the same time. On the other hand, the husband has to be 4 or 5 years older. And on the other hand, the woman is not allowed to marry again. In almost all cultures and societies, it is a new development that she is being allowed, and that also only in very developed countries. You don't allow her to marry, so she is going to live at least 10 years of widowhood. This is medically unsound. Just the arithmetic is not right. Why enforce 10 years of widowhood, which happens on this planet more than you know, on a poor woman? The best way would have been that the wife should be 5 years older, the man should be 5 years younger. That would have settled the whole matter. They would be dying almost simultaneously, in most cases, at the same time. There would be no need for widowers and widows and the problems that arise out of that. Now, if you think that a woman lives for 5 years longer than a man, then who is superior? If she falls sick less, has more resistance, then who is superior? Women commit suicide 50% less than men. The same ratio is true of madness. 50% less women go mad than men. Now, these facts have never been considered. Why? Why does man have to commit suicide at double the rate of women? It seems to be that he has no patience with life. He is too impatient and is too desirous, expectant. And when things don't go his way, then he wants to finish himself. He gets frustrated very soon. That shows a weakness. He hasn't the courage to face the problems of life. Suicide is a cowardly step. It is escaping from problems. It is not solving them. The woman has more problems, her own problems, than the problems that her man creates for her. She has double the problem. And still, she manages to face them courageously. And you go on saying that she is weaker. Why do twice as many men as women go mad? That simply shows that his intellect is not made of strong material. He pops off any time. But why has it been insisted continually that the woman is inferior? It is politics. It is a power game. As the question is posed, I often hear that the politicians and the priests are exploiting and cheating people as if they are a different race from outer space forced upon us. My understanding is, rather that these politicians and priests come out from amongst us, so we are totally responsible for their doings, and complaining about them seems like complaining about ourselves. Isn't a politician and a priest hidden in every one of us? Well, the politicians and the priests are certainly not coming from outer space. They are growing amongst us. We also have the same lust for power, right? The same ambition to be holier than others. They are the most successful people as far as these ambitions and desires are concerned. Certainly we are responsible, but it is a vicious circle. We are not the only ones who are responsible. The successful politicians and priests go on conditioning the new generations for the same ambitions they make the society they cultivate. It's mind and conditioning. They're also responsible. And they are more responsible than the common people, because the common people are victims of all kinds of programs that are being imposed upon them. The child comes into the world without any ambition, without any lust for power, without any idea that he or she is higher, holier, superior. Certainly he cannot be responsible. Those who bring him up, the parents, the society, the educational system, the politicians, the priests, the same gang goes on spoiling every child. Of course, in his own turn he will spoil. But it is a vicious circle. From where to break it? Condemning the priests and the politicians is because that is the place where it can be broken. Condemning the small children coming into the world is not going to help. Condemning the common masses is also not going to help because they've been already conditioned. They are being exploited. They are suffering. They are miserable, but nothing wakes them up. They are fast asleep. The only point where our condemnation should be concentrated is on those who have the power, because they have the power to contaminate the future generations. If they can be stopped, we can have a new man. Everybody is responsible. Whatever happens in some way or other, everybody has his own part in it. But what is important is who to hit, so that for the new generation of children, the vicious circle can be avoided. Humanity has been revolving in it for centuries. That's why not condemning the common masses, that's why not condemning any of us. Condemn those who are now in a position than if they just relax a little bit as far as their vested interests are concerned and look at the miserable mass of humanity. A transformation is possible. The circle can be broken. Now, it is purposely chosen that the politicians and the priests, and everybody in some way is responsible, but not everybody is powerful enough to break the circle. That's why we are hitting constantly on the priests and the politicians. And now they have become afraid. Perhaps they have never been afraid before. All over the world, they don't want us to enter their countries. The priests are behind the politicians who are making rules and laws that should be prohibited. And every time you try to form a community, a commune in America, it's always destroyed by the politicians. But behind the politicians were the fundamentalists, Christians, the most orthodox group of Christian priests. President himself and a fundamentalist Christian. And to be a fundamentalist Christian means to be absolutely orthodox. He believes that every single word in the Bible is holy, is from God's own mouth. And both the priests and the politicians are very vulnerable. They have no ground beneath their feet. Just a good hit is needed, and they will be finished. And once they're finished, society will have a taste of freedom. We can bring up children in a more humane way, unconditioned, intelligent, looking at the whole earth as one, not Christians, not Hindus, not Mohammedans, not Indians, not Chinese, not Americans. Nations and religions are creations of the priests and the politicians. Once they are finished, religions and nations are also finished. And a world of free, it's absolutely free of religions, free of nations. We will be a human world without wars, without unnecessarily fighting for things which nobody has seen. It is so stupid that for thousands of years, thousands and thousands of years, people have been killing each other in the name of God. None of them has seen God. None of them has any proof. None of them has any evidence. And they don't even feel embarrassed because nobody has. looking directly into their eyes, ask the question. And they are going on crusades, jihads, religious wars, destroying all those who do not believe in their dogma. Because their dogma is divine and every other dogma is the devil's creation. They are trying to serve humanity by killing people. Their intention is to free those from the clutches of the devil. But the strangest thing is that every religion thinks that the other religion was created by the devil. So the fight continues. Politicians are fighting war after war. For what? They don't see the point. The earth has no lines, so why make these maps and draw lines? A very intelligent man one day brought a few pieces of cardboard. He had cut the whole world map into small pieces, put them on the desk, and asked, "Can anybody come and arrange them in the right order?" Many tried and failed. Just one boy, seeing that everybody was failing and they were not making the world map by putting the pieces together, looked at one piece on the reverse side. Then he turned all the pieces over and he found the picture of a man. He arranged the picture of the man, which was very easy, and that was the key. On one side, the man was arranged. On the other side, the world map was arranged. Perhaps the same is true of the real world. If we can arrange man, the world will be arranged. If we can make man silent, peaceful, loving, nations will disappear. Wars will disappear. All dirty politics will disappear. And remember, all politics is dirty. There is no other kind. But we have to hit on those who have the power. Hitting the poor common man will not help. He has no power. He is a victim. Even if we can change him, it won't be a great change. But if we can abolish the conspiracy between religion and politics, the priests and the politicians, it will be really a great change, a revolution. The only revolution is needed, and that has not happened yet. Politics should be cursed. It is the calamity that has made us live in suffering for centuries. Politics is absolutely unnecessary, but politicians will not allow it to become unnecessary because then they lose their presidencies, their White Houses, their Kremlins, their prime ministerships. Politics is not needed. It is really out of date. It was needed because nations were continuously fighting. In 3,000 years, there have been 5,000 wars. In 3,000 years, there have been 5,000 wars. If we just dissolve the boundary lines, which exist only on the map, not on the earth, who will bother about politics? And there will be a world government, but this government will be only functional. It'll only be functional. It won't have any prestige to it because there will be no competition with anybody. If you are the president of the world government, so what? You're not higher than anybody else. A functional government means the way railways are run. Who cares who the president of the railway is? The way the post office is managed, and managed perfectly. Who cares who the head postmaster general is? Nations have to disappear, and with the disappearance of nations, politics itself disappears. It commits suicide. What remains is a functional organization that takes care. It can be made rotary, like a Rotary Club. So sometimes a black man is the head, sometimes a woman is the head, sometimes a Chinese is the head, sometimes a Russian is the head, sometimes an American is the head, but it goes on moving like a wheel. Perhaps not more than 6 months should be given to one person. More than that is dangerous. So for 6 months, be president, and then go down the drain forever. No person should be chosen again. This is simply poverty of intelligence that you go on choosing the same person as president again and again and again. Don't you see it's as poverty of intelligence. You don't have intelligent people, you have just one dodo to go on. In one world, there is no need for political parties either. Individuals should decide individually. There's no need for any political party. It is very destructive of democracy, of whatever. Although people say that democracy cannot exist without political parties or republics. None of them can exist if political parties are there, because they have their vested interests. Each individual is free to run for any post or to vote for anybody he feels right. And whoever comes out may be far wiser than your presidents and prime ministers, perhaps because he is going to be there for only 6 months. He cannot waste his time inaugurating this university, inaugurating that bridge, inaugurating this road, inaugurating all kinds of nonsense, and wasting time. And the parliament is simply arguing about absolutely meaningless affairs as if they have eternity in their hands. A small bill takes years to pass sometimes. A man who has only 6 months cannot allow this stupidity. He will choose scientific advisors, experts in different fields. For example, in economics, he'll find all the best economic minds in the world to advise him. He doesn't have much time. He cannot go on with third-rate politicians who know only the art of lying and nothing else. If he has to decide about education, he will ask the advice of the great educationists of the world. Right now, strange things happen. Just a single formula to give to the civilization. The understanding of a civilization, a universal civilization, a civilization of the universe that governs itself, learns generation after generation. You have a small group. They confer and consult, interact with the civilization. And whoever the leader is, 6 months and they're out. It's revolving constantly, giving different perspectives, different ideas. Boundaries are ego. And we all know that this civilization is mostly controlled by its ego mind. Now, in a bicameral society, all the dictators in this world are created by us because we want somebody else to tell us what to do. There's a very subtle reason for it. When we are told by somebody else what to do, we don't have any responsibility for whether it is right or wrong. We are free of responsibility. We don't have to think about it. We don't have to be worried about it. The whole responsibility goes to the person who is giving us the orders to do something. People like Adolf Hitler, Joseph Stalin, or Ronald Reagan are not there in their powerful positions because of any quality of theirs. They're there because millions of people want to be told what to do without somebody dictating to them. They are at a loss. We create the dictators. Adolf Hitler was almost crazy, but a nation, one of the most intelligent nations in the world, which has created a great tradition of philosophers, thinkers, theologians of the first rate. Even in this century, Germany has produced people like Martin Heidegger, who was perhaps this century's greatest philosopher, but he was also a follower of Adolf Hitler. It seems almost incomprehensible that a man of the qualities of Martin Heidegger, and you looked into all the philosophers of the world, Martin Heidegger seems to have such a genius, such a great originality in approaching things from absolutely new directions. But he has a follower of Adolf Hitler. He supported him. You kind of wonder, what could be the reason the whole nation supported that madman? The reason is that nobody wants to have any responsibility. But the moment you lose your responsibility, you think it's a burden, somebody else takes it. You also lose your individuality. In this illusion, you also lose your freedom. Your responsibility is not separate from your freedom, your individuality. Once you drop your responsibility on somebody else's shoulders, you have reduced yourself into a non-entity. Of course, now nobody will blame you if something goes wrong, but you have lost your soul. People condemn the dictators, but nobody thinks what the psychology is, how dictators are created. Who creates them? We are the people who create them. We create them in the hope that they will take the responsibility. But we are not aware that with the responsibility goes our freedom, goes our individuality, goes our republic, goes freedom of thinking or expression, everything. We have lost our souls the moment we put our responsibility into somebody else's hands. And there are people who enjoy dominating, dictating. They are insane people. So it is strange. It's a strange situation. People want to be unburdened of responsibility. And of course, there are a few people who are ready to take all the responsibility because they are also taking all your freedom. They are taking all your rights, your very individuality. Their only will is for power. They have a different kind of insanity, but it seems to be fitting. There seems to be a certain synchronicity between the people who want to get rid of responsibility without knowing that they are getting rid of their very souls, and the other insane people who love only one thing, power. I'll join you in the meditation, and I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose and an easy and slow breath out of the mouth. Remain still. Finding inner peace. Being alone is the gateway to freedom and is the foundation of every spiritual awakening. I invite you to take some time to be completely alone and relax. Find a very quiet, peaceful place where you can simply be yourself and discover a deeper state of peace within. Eat healthy foods, take a nap, meditate, go for a long walk every day. Learn the sacred art of relaxation. Rest in your innermost being and enjoy the experience. We will return here tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern to continue our Time for Change calls, and Thursday, October 27, 2022, 3 p.m. Eastern to continue our global guided meditation call.